Alright, so this episode, rebuilding carburetor, $75 carburetor that got off of Facebook Marketplace. As you can expect, $75 carburetor off of Facebook Marketplace needed some work. So doing that and installing it and buttoning up some things prior to starting it. Other than that, man, I hope y'all been enjoying it. We are getting pretty close to catching up to where I'm at on the car so that you can more closely be following along with what I'm doing. And then I'm getting a little help from my youngest child on this one too. So, man, keep following along. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you. All right, do it again. Okay, so a few keen eye observers will recognize that we are now in my clean room, where I've done other things such as rebuild my transmission, because you have to have a clean room for stuff like this. I'm going to go through this carburetor. Obviously, not really a clean room. It's just my garage, and this is a workbench. I did clean it off. It was really, really messy. It took me longer than it should have to clean it off. That's because stuff gets piled over here. So, this carburetor I bought for $75 whole off Facebook Marketplace. I did have to look for a while to get the thing for 75 bucks. It's a 3310, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, 3310. 750 vacuum secondaries. This one actually has metering blocks on both primary and secondary. And I'm probably not reusing this. It kind of looks like it was bent in here. I'm hoping that doesn't mean it was cross-threaded. Maybe I'll take these out while I'm over here. I did gather the tools before I started this process. This giant 1-inch thing is kind of ridiculous. I think the newer ones, they actually went to a different... Gah! I can't get them out, so... That is okay, I guess. I just kind of like to take out everything. Since I'm here, this is a really big 1-inch. I mean, it's a very long 1-inch wrench. But seemed like overkill for the job at hand. Anyway, I bought it for 75 bucks off Facebook Marketplace. Some random guy that had it for sale did have to ship it to me. You can kind of see there's yuck in there. That's I don't know why I want to remove them, because I'd rather clean all that stuff out if I can. But I'm having trouble getting on this one very good. There we go. Persistence paid off. I don't really know much about it other than it's 3310. I haven't even had the bowls off, so it could be totally destroyed inside, but I mean it really looks complete. The only thing it was missing when it came was sight plugs for the float bowls. I put in these lens things. I got these sight plugs from, these are Moroso. These are sight plugs for a Holley carburetor. So you can set the float level without pulling the sight plugs, the brass ones. So I'm not sure if it's just something with modern fuel, but when I took these out of the carburetor, the little plastic threads were actually, you could bend them by hand. They were all spongy, and then this one clearly just started to kind of melt away where the fuel had touched it. So Moroso sight plugs, stay away from them. They're garbage. One of those fit really well and the other one didn't. I'm not, it just felt tight the whole way in. Not sure why. This does look like one of the kind of chrome looking old Holleys, which is unfortunate. I like the old school gold. This wrench is way too big for this job. Come on, fella. Just come on out of there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, there's gunk in here. I just want to clean all of that up. Let's pop off some float bowls and see what kind of magic is inside. Guess we'll start with the primary. And since I have not been inside this thing, there's no telling what kind of condition it's in. I do have a little ultrasonic cleaner, which I'll use for the metering plates. So I think it's at 4150. It's a 4150 if it has a metering plate, or the other thing, not the metering. If it has it's 4150 if it has this piece. It's 4160 if it doesn't have that piece. The metering plate between the float bowl and the carburetor body. I think that's right. If I'm not right, somebody will tell me. Repeatedly, I'm sure it is. This thing does look like it may have been gone through previously, because it's got the little like nylon-ish. Man, there's like a lot of corrosion in here. I wonder if it had some modern day gas in it. The stuff with 4% alcohol, whatever it is. Let me get some tap on that with. Huzzah! Yeah, it's a little nasty inside. Ugh. It's a little gross. Nothing amazing. Holy moly! You see somebody had the float level, you know, down. It was way down. Wonder if it was running lean. I would bet on it. I did not get a flathead. Let me get one of them. It is a little nasty inside. I mean, I've definitely seen better. There we go. Looks like a 6.5 power valve. That's coming out. Not specifically because of the size of the power valve, but I'm not reusing it, that's what I'm saying. Okay, here's our front, our primaries. Oof, it stinks too. But, you know, it's not beautiful inside. I would almost bet it has had modern gas in it, because it's just crusty. Size jets we got in the fronts. Oh, it's not good enough. We'll probably just leave those in. And I have a little ultrasonic cleaner. I've built some watches on my own, you know, like wristwatches, mechanical wristwatches. So I have an ultrasonic cleaner for that. It is tiny, but this is probably right there at maximum size. At the top of its man. Stab myself. Here's your power valve gasket, which always seems to separate for some reason. Might need a laser blade. Okay, let's let that filler go here, and then we'll go to the secondaries. Need a good thorough clean. I did buy this carburetor specifically for this car. Vacuum secondaries, electric choke, specifically because it's a car I intend to sell. Somebody has run amok on this screw, so I'll have to get a wrench for that. I don't even know how you jack up the back of the screw this on a carburetor, man. Come on. Doesn't make sense. It's got the head all. I don't know, beat on it with a hammer? Is that how you take football screws out? I don't know. I mean, they're not big.
Again, crusty magic. That little small percentage of ethanol in the fuel just, it's not good for stuff. Just corrosion. What is the deal? That doesn't make sense, man. Ugh. So that one wasn't trapped down. The needle and seat was just jacked up. Like, it's really nasty. So it... wish it wasn't a plastic float. I'm not a big fan. This thing is dirty, man. Dirty. Lots of dirty. So dirty. You know, $75, I guess. That's about right. Probably should have made sure it was drained before it came, when it came here. So that's partially probably on me. Or maybe I should have just rebuilt it and... Oof, stink. Rebuilt it and... We're on there for sure. Easy. Easy. Getting a little carried away. Huh. Well, that metering plate is on there. Faux show. See if I can see what size these ridges are. Readers yet. I'm sure it's coming, but not yet. What was I doing? Oh, I was stabbing myself with this wire brush, trying to see if I could find a jet side on here. $7.5. don't know why I'm interested in what jet sizes are in here because, I don't have a bunch of jets laying around anyway. I do have the Holley that came off this car. Let's see if I can verify they're the same jet on both. Yeah, that's a 75. That one I don't really have to clean. But, if I did have to change jet sizes, or I thought one of these, if it had been like 100, I would have certainly thought, that seems really big. Primary concern this moment is getting this metering right off of here. Come on, little fella, come off of there. It's okay. Dang. Don't like prying on them very much. It's not good. But it is wiggled. It's not moving very much. I know I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to try and see if we can just get a little bit going.
Oh, look, there she goes, sweet as honeydew. You swear that you have seen her face like she's deja vu. She's the image of the fruit you cannot taste, forbidden and out of reach from another place. You don't know her name or how she got to here. All you know is that you know she's from a higher tier. You're reaching for her now. She built her way down and out. She's never coming down. There's never any doubt. She's up above. Oh, she's a beach. She's simply out of reach. She's up above. Oh, she's a beach. She's simply out of reach. She's up above. Oh, she's a beach. She's simply out of reach. She's up above. Oh, she's a beach. She's simply out of reach. Oh, look, there she goes, sweet as honeydew. You swear that you have seen her face like she's deja vu.
Basically, we're ripping this gasket in half. Yeah. And if I had a big vat of carb cleaner, probably would have just soaked it there until something good happened. Not this. Yeah. Wow. Alright. Well, I didn't scratch any of the face where it seals. Oh, this gasket is trash. It's actually really, really clean on this side. Almost like it hasn't been seeing fuel. But I guess it really hasn't. It just goes through the gasket. I will clean up my abuse marks up here as best I can. Let's see. So that one that looked like it was, the bolt hole looked like it had been, or the bolt looked like it had been abused. That's probably a piece of thread from that bolt hole. And if that one gets tight, that doesn't bode well for this carburetor. All this just needs to be cleaned before I try anything out. Like football bolts are not very big. They don't, nothing about them says extreme torque required. You know? I don't understand why people crank down on football screws. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're supposed to be torque to yield, you know, till the threads yield and come out of the carburetor. But I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think they're supposed to, the threads I don't think are supposed to come out of the carburetor. Of course, you're probably not supposed to beat on them with a hammer and a screwdriver either. It wouldn't come apart. Oakley, Oakley. Let's try and get this side off here. Alright, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and ultrasonic bath these metering plates with their jetses in them. And hopefully that'll loosen up the gasket on this one. The other one's fine. And also get rid of this, you know, gross. This stuff that looks like it's from alcohol in the carburetor. But, ultrasonic is super annoying. We're not going to be videoing while this is running because it's a terrible sound. So we'll it's like probably only one at a time is going to work. Maybe I could dump some out. I don't know. Let's go one at a time. Alright, I'm going to start these in their ultrasonic super bath. I'll tinker with some other parts. And then I'll pick up later. Alright, so I was originally going to video this rebuild of this carburetor more in depth, but ultimately the thing was so dirty inside that I had to clean. Like this is the accelerator pump. It's like solid as a rock. One needle and seat is stuck all the way open, like solid stuck. The other needle and seat is stuck all the way closed. Like you take some spare ones I have, you shake them. These don't do anything. They're junk. So I ended up having to clean every part in that I could fit in my ultrasonic cleaner, and my ultrasonic cleaner is really small. So as a result, it took forever. So I just ended up cycling part after part through the ultrasonic cleaner, and then it ended up taking so long that I just didn't even try and record, because there's just nothing to really show you the ultrasonic cleaner just being ultrasonic cleaner, which is noisy and kind of annoying sounding. So additionally, hopefully this is going to work out. A few of the bolt holes on the back of the carburetor do not look good. So hopefully I don't have to order a tap and die set for it, because that's kind of what it's looking like. And the Holley one's like $110, but I found some other. Oh, and I see that there's some thorough bashing of this float bowl, so that's good. That explains probably why this is off a car, because one float bowl was solid. I mean, it's solid, wide open. I don't know if you can see that, but that needle doesn't move, and then the other is solid closed. So one bowl would have been ultra lean and the other bowl would have been super fat. So yeah, it was. But once I get to the back bowl, I guess we'll see if I have to end up ordering thread repair kit for it. I hope not, but my optimism is low. But whoever, touched this carburetor last probably has no business working on them. Like the needle and seat that was stuck fully closed was run so far down into the carburetor that I had to get needle nose pliers to twist it out enough to even unthread it. They should not have been working on one. It's one person's opinion, mine. But for $75, it's not a surprise, I guess, that there was something wrong with it. I mean, you really don't have to torque these guys down. They're the float bowls were disgusting. The float bowls look kind of like that accelerator pump. Just that crud in them. And my ultrasonic cleaner is so small that the float bowl, I could put the float bowl in there and it would clean this half, and then I'd have to flip it over and then run it again, clean the other half. So there just really wasn't much to share. I don't know if maybe they had a fuel leak they were trying to get rid of. That's probably good enough. Additionally, I went through and took the electronic choke wire off and cleaned up the the wiring on it just to make it a good solid connection for ground. I did test it. I've got an external power supply, and I just put 12 volts to it, and it does work. It was way out of adjustment though when I got the carburetor. Like it was where it wouldn't do anything. I also replaced this vacuum diaphragm thing. I doubt it was bad, but you know, you're there. But no needle in seats. I blew through everything pretty good. That's pretty much it. You can see how awesome, like this is the check valve for the accelerator pump. It was terrible. Man, it was really nasty inside. Now, you know, it doesn't look brand new, but it looks better. Of course, it had, you know, all the months worth of sitting in this garage having rust and overspray buildup on it too. So, but there we go. Carburetor is rebuilt. We'll get it popped on. I'm probably not going to use this dual feed line because it's all bent up. But we'll go from there. Okay, carburetor's rebuilt. I have a new dual feed line. China's best, I'm sure. Got to see if I can manage to use a dual feed line and clear this bracket, or if I've got to go some other route. I'd rather not go some other route, but I guess if I have to, I have to.
Can't get a game. Shit, I got some change on me. Look into my eyes, moving it right. I might just pay the fee. She's cash bleed. Yeah. She got a wig, making the block free. Cash bleed. Yeah. Can't get a game. Shit, I got some change on me. Look into my eyes, moving it right. I might just pay the fee. She's cash bleed. Yeah. She got a wig, making the block free. Cash bleed. Yeah. Baby, do it faster, baby, do it left cheek, right cheek, make it look easy. All this shiny, and that shit is cash me. And this thing is heavy.
Just not sure what happens here. Is that how it goes? I'm gonna have to look it up because, you know, coming with directions is not something that stuff does anymore. Throttle action's really smooth on this thing. Alright, well, I'll go look up how this thing's supposed to work versus what my brain's coming up with, and then I'll be back at it. Alright, so the other brackets I have to set up are for the kickdown linkage. For the kickdown, you know, this car originally had kickdown levers, and now it's got a cable, which I've never set one up before, but man, it sure seems a lot easier than those brackets and the pulleys. And basically, Chrysler should have asked somebody else how they did it, because it wasn't very good. It's just one of them things you gotta. Now that there are parts available, there's just no reason to struggle with it, because it's such a pain in the butt to ever get it right once you change the factory carburetor on a Chrysler. And it's not like a Chevy. You run around with a Chrysler without a manual valve body, and don't use your kickdown linkage, you're going to burn up the transmission. That is all there is to it. We'll get it figured out. I'm sure of it. But for now, got the carburetor rebuilt, got the carburetor on the car. Looks like we're going to clear fuel line. That was a concern with that dual feed line. Of course, that dual feed line, I'm still skeptical as to whether it's actually on right. But we can get in here through just another fuel line coming up underneath these heater hoses. And then we got the heater hoses routed. They don't look perfect, but that's what they are. I mean, there's a flow arrow. If this thing kicked the other way, it would be perfect, but it'll work. And I will have to wire up the electric choke, but for now I think I'm good. And then when I come back to it, I'm going to hook up the kickdown cable. That one's pretty important. So the reason I was having trouble figuring out how this thing was supposed to set up is it is actually designed to be used with an aftermarket throttle cable and the aftermarket kickdown cable. It doesn't affect the kickdown operation, but it does affect how it sets up, so it was just a little confusing on that front. But once I looked up Locar's instructions on how to use their cable, it worked just fine. Because this thing is essentially a one-for-one knockoff, made in China, I think. Just like most everything else, I think. The big thing is when it's at full throttle, you don't want it to have any slack. You want it to have just a little bit of play at the bottom. And that's pretty much what we got. So I actually wouldn't mind if they gave you a set screw for both sides of this little ferrule thing, but they only give you the one, so I'll make do. And of course, I don't have an assortment of set screws. Next, I'm probably going to end up putting a throttle cable on this thing, but my car, I struggled with throttle setup on this forever, but hopefully this one doesn't have the same problems. Mine, I found it really difficult to get full throttle. My cousin has a 75 model Duster, I have a 73. He never had that problem, so it could have just been me. I think I'm going to put the upper radiator. Actually, I'm going to run a fuel line. Because the more stuff I put in the way of this fuel line, the more difficult it's going to make it to run. I have about 10 feet of fuel line somewhere. It's only 5/16. I did not upgrade the fuel line. I didn't see the point. The fuel line is still serviceable. So. Yeah. I'm going to put fuel line in. Like I said, it's getting a little cramped. So better to do it now than later. Unlike engineers who build cars and don't consider how hard it's going to make something to work on, I can take into consideration how much more work it's going to make for myself if something breaks. So the filler neck still has some rust in it. I'm putting a little service loop in to attach this fuel filter. However, what I also did was run the top part of the line long enough that if you pulled it off, it would still be able to hook to the fuel pump. And then the service loop will come out the other side. Which will be fine. But the service loop will make it easier to change the filter if need be. Like I said, I made the line long enough so that if the fuel filter had to be pulled out of line with it, and then or bypass the line direct from the carburetor to the fuel pump is long enough to make that connection. Good. I'll bring the camera over here. I guess first I'll show you this kick down monkey business. So this is the kick down cable. Where I have the bolt is where it is set up for an aftermarket throttle cable to run through here. And then it connects to the bottom of the throttle linkage, pulls the kick down lever. That's all there is to it. But when I was running it I was running the kick down cable straight through this bracket, and that downward kick was making it use too much cable, so there wasn't enough play. It's the only way I've kept from spending a fortune in nuts and bolts. I've traded my time for my money, basically. Upper radiator hose. We got the throttle working properly, so we know we're going to get full throttle. That means it'll go as fast as it can when you step on the gas. If you floor it, you get to go all the fast. All the fast that the car is able to go. That's why you adjust it. And you can't do it by yourself, but somebody's got to be out here to check it. See that? When you step on the gas, it pulls on this. When you open this, it makes extra gas go in there.
So that's
and
how
extra air, and that makes it go faster.
So you can floor it.
That's it. You floor it. What's next, dude? Spark plugs. That's what I think. Actually, I think I'll prime the oil pump again, then I'll put the spark plugs in. But I'm not doing that today. Alright, just look under there and make sure there's nothing running now.
There's not anything running.
Now we're going to go with waters.
Oh.
Alright, now we're going to put it on the ground.
Can't get a game. Shit, I got some change on me. Look into my eyes, moving it right. I might just pay the fee. She's cash bleed. Yeah. She got a way of making the block free. Cash bleed. Yeah. Can't get a game. Shit, I got some change on me. Look into my eyes, moving it right. I might just pay the fee. She's cash bleed. Yeah. She got a way of making the block free. Cash bleed.
Yep, and what it was.
Okay, more fluids. A different kind of fluid now.
Baby, do it faster. Baby, do it right. Make it look easy. All this shiny. And that shit is cash me. And this thing is cash me. And this thing is cash me. Baby, do it right. Make it look easy. And this thing is cash me. Can't get a game.
It looks good, but I won't actually drink it.
Smell the funnel and see if it smells good. Does it smell good? It doesn't smell like something you would drink?
It looks like it. So it's gonna do for 30 minutes. How long is this video?
You're doing about 15 cents worth of work.
Really? Oh, I probably actually too.
Wait here. I'll be right back. Talk to the cameras or something.
Shit, I got some change on me. Look into my eyes, moving it right. I might just pay the fee. She's cash bleed. Yeah. She got a way of making the block free. Cash bleed. Yeah. Can't get a game. Shit, I got some change on me. Look into my eyes, moving it right. I might just pay the fee. She's cash bleed. Yeah. She got a way of making the block free. Cash bleed. Yeah.
What'd you tell the cameras?
I was just switching back and forth looking at them.
I see.
I mean, I said hi, but that's pretty much all.
Alright, let's get it back. Alright.
That's it for today's video.
Yeah, I think so, buddy.
And next time we are going to do something. I don't know what we're doing next time.
Alright, and as my boy said in that video, that's it for today's video. And next time we're going to do something, he doesn't know what, but it's probably going to be starting the car. So, breaking the camshaft in, all that good terror. And then I appreciate y'all joining in, watching along. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to type them in there. And, you know, we're going to get caught up pretty quick and hopefully see this thing driving and stuff like that. So next one should be a pretty big move forward. So check it out. I appreciate it.